And there's my message. All right, so good afternoon and welcome to the Statewide Design Challenge introduction call. I'm extremely excited to have everybody joining us tonight. We are going to talk about several things in a very short amount of time. So, another reason why we are recording is so you can go back and see this information. You're also going to get my contact information today. So if you have a question that I just didn't answer, or if there's something that you need to know and you think of it after the call is over, then feel free just to reach out. No big deal. And just let me know how else I can help. So if you are SDC veteran, then you have a great idea of what this is like. If you are brand new to the Statewide Design Challenge, then maybe there's a lot of things that you're curious about. So we hope to address both of those groups tonight. Some of this is going to be very similar to what we've done before, and then there are a couple brand new things, one of which we started last year. It was a great success. And then one of the other new things is brand new to everybody. So we will take a look at all of that. I don't want to delay any further in saying just how excited we are for this year's partner, and that is the TWRA, the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. And we are just so excited to have them be our partner for this year's challenge. Um, I've said it 100 times, and I know that Chelsea has said it 100 times as well, just how excited they are. But Chelsea Sexton is with us tonight, and she is actually with the TWRA. So, Chelsea, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'm going to let you tell us just a little bit about TWRA and what you would like us to know about this year's partnership.
Yeah, thank you all for having me on today. Like Ben said, we just are very, very excited. I'm Chelsea Sexton. I'm the Assistant Chief for Communications and Marketing here at TWRA. And our mission is really to preserve, conserve, manage, protect, and enhance the fish and wildlife of the state and their habitats for the use, benefit, and enjoyment of the citizens of Tennesseans and its visitors. We are just really, really excited about this year's goal of this statewide design challenge. We're looking forward to, partnering up and providing, awareness and opportunities available to students not only within this project, but also fish and wildlife careers. There are so many across our agency that students can really look forward to or, look into. And we're just really excited about this partnership. You'll learn later a little bit more about, within our PowerPoint that Ben has within the packet. There are multiple kind of opportunities to look at some different projects for this statewide design challenge. Just really excited to, kind of look for something that's very practical that maybe we can use here at TWRA. So I know Ben will kind of talk a little bit more about that, but thank you again for letting us join you and with you all in this statewide design challenge.
Yes, ma'am. And thank y'all so much. We've already had several conversations with the TWRA just about how we can improve the competition for this year, make it more interactive, which in turn makes it more meaningful for your students. So I just can't say enough good things about what's to come. All right. If you are on this call, then that means you received an email or maybe you got the link externally from the email. So in that email, you may have found a link to this year's design challenge packet. So if you have a mobile device, iPad phone, scan that QR code, whatever you will, that will take you to the flip book. If you don't have that handy, or if you'd rather open it up on your computer while you're on the Zoom, I just put the link in the chat. So what that link will take you to is the actual flip book. It'll take you to a website called Vengage, and then it'll open up. And I'm just going to drag it over here. So you should see something that looks like this. So as you flip through and just clicking the arrow takes you to the next page. As you flip through, you'll see that there is just a ton of information about this year's challenge, about the engineering design process, about connections you can make with your school, about connections you can make with TWRA. So, what I would like to do is just highlight some of well, really a high level highlight of some of the components of the packet. So, not to insult anyone's intelligence by sitting here and reading this to you, but I just want to call your attention to some of the pieces that the packet brings attention to. So, uh, the first thing that I want to call attention to is the contents here. This tells you what all is in the packet. It helps you navigate to those different pages. And then at the bottom here, wherever you see this TSIN logo, if you click that logo, it'll take you right back to the table of contents. So you don't have to flip all the way back to page 2 or page 3 if you're all the way on page 10. Just a bit of an efficiency thing there. So, what's the purpose? The purpose of the Statewide Design Challenge is to give you, Tennessee teachers, um, a boxed kit, if you will, PBL that you can use for your classroom. It already has some problems that you can address. It has some tools that you can use to incorporate the engineering design process into your project. And it gives you a lot of information um, about the challenge. So, one thing that we make sure we tell teachers and that we want you to know is that there is not a single solution to this year's challenge. And that's the point, is we want your students to explore how they might solve this year's problem. So, speaking of, we are making sure that we address the United Nations Sustainability Goals this year. Goal number 15, talking about conservation, which leads us to this year's prompt. How can we develop innovative, sustainable solutions that protect, restore, enhance, as well as maintain terrestrial ecosystems in Tennessee? So, that is the prompt for this year's challenge. If you do this within your classroom, if you do this at a competition level, or if you just want to do this as a PBL separate from the competition, that's fine. If you want to change up the prompt a little bit, if you want to change up some of the wording, depending on the level that you're going to be implementing the challenge, that's fine. This is just to help get you started. This is to give you a base that you can work off of. So a moment ago, Chelsea mentioned that there's a PowerPoint that TWRA sent us that has a ton of information. If you click this turtle here, it actually takes you directly to that PowerPoint. And this tells you all about the TWRA. It tells you all about the careers that are connected. It tells you all about what the TWRA does. It gives you several examples of potential design projects, and I love these. And just looking through these, I'm thinking when I was a teacher, like, oh my gosh, I could connect this to this particular standard. I connect this to this particular standard. So it just gives you a lot of different options, a lot of different things that you can look at as you're going through the challenge this year. Also takes you to some of the events that TWRA hosts, shows you where you can get connected locally, the different regional offices that you can connect with folks. And then if you want a TWRA representative to come talk to your classroom, that's an option. Along with several links down here that will take you to the TWRA website, where you'll find even more information. So, a letter from our partner here just talking about their involvement with the SDC this year. Connections, making local connections for something that I learned this year called a WMA, a wildlife management area. So, how to get your students involved, how to get them outdoors. You know, weather in Tennessee can be pretty unpredictable. Right now, it's extremely nice. You know, it just depends on which season we're going to have on Tuesday. right? But if you can get those students outside, there are so many WMAs. Guaranteed, there's one close to your school that you might be able to take your students just to go visit. Again, if you see an icon in the packet here, there's a link embedded somewhere. So if you just click on those icons, then those links take you. This one, for example, takes you to events and it shows you where those particular TWRA events are happening all over the state of Tennessee. And you just see all those red dots right there. There are just so many going on all the time. All right. Looking forward here, we will get to the timeline. I'm going to show you a separate document for that in just a moment. But just notice that there are workforce connections. You'll see something in the rubric as you go through that about making that connection with the workforce, with the industries. So this page is going to be extremely beneficial when you're talking about making those career connections for your students. Engineer design process, again, each one of the icons will lead you to a helpful resource that takes you, or I'm sorry, takes you to an external site, an external resource that tells you more about that particular step of the engineering design process. Um, Clicking on the raccoon here, this one takes you to TED Ed, right? So maybe it's something you want to use for your classroom. Maybe it's something that you as a teacher want to reference and not necessarily have your students go to, but it is a resource that's linked in there for you. All right, the scoring and the awards. So this is very much a competition if you want it to be. If you want to host this within your classroom and not submit for the competition, fine. If you want to host this in your classroom and have it as a school-wide competition, love it. We welcome all of those things. There's no pressure to enter this into the competition phase. We love to see it, but if you're just not comfortable doing that, then you don't have to do that. You can host this within your classroom, and I would love to hear from you as to how it went. But if you do submit for the competition, we give a top winner for elementary, which is K through 5, and then middle, which is 6 through 8, and then high school, which is 9 through 12. We have two other awards that are all together, meaning K through 12. Anybody can win these two awards. One is an award that we've done each year called the Blue Sky Award. This award goes to the group that, maybe their presentation wasn't quite as good as another group, or maybe they just missed a point in the rubric. Maybe there was just something about the prototype or the solution that just didn't technically score as high as someone else's. But that idea just went above and beyond, and it was just out of this world, or blue sky award. So, um, always excited to see who our blue sky winners are. And then one of our new awards this year was actually a suggestion from the TWRA themselves. So we're excited to add and to announce that we will also have what's called the Boots on the Ground Award. So this is going to be awarded to the group that has a practical conservation solution that can be realistically implemented by TWRA. And Chelsea and I have had several conversations. What's going to come from this competition? What would we like to see? And something we would like to see, something we would love to see, is a solution that could be implemented tomorrow. How fantastic would that be if your student was the one, or your group of students was the one that had that solution? Like, oh my gosh, this is a no-brainer. This is something that we've got to implement right now. So, boots on the ground, again, that's something that will be available K through 12, along with the Blue Sky Award there. And then we're going to get into the timeline. So I'm actually going to stop sharing this and I'm going to drag over the timeline for this year. Well, I said it was. There we go. And I'm very aware that I'm going quickly on this. Um, we're recording it, so if you want to go back and watch, or if you have questions that I'm just not hitting on, then please feel free to stay on with me after this, and I will address those as much as I can here. Timeline. So August is already come and gone. How about that? School's been in session for almost a full month and nearly a full month for my kiddos. Um, so we are living right here. Introduction call on October 23rd and on November 3rd, I'm sorry, on October 23rd and on January 12th, we will have coaching calls. So these are times when I join, just like tonight, just like this afternoon, and I am available to you. Whatever teachers want to join those calls, if you have questions you want to directly ask me, if you have something you want to share, hey, Ben, this is what I'm doing. Am I on the right track? Or hey Ben, I did my competition a month ago. Where do I submit that? If there's just something that you're curious about, join one of those calls, and someone else might have the same curiosity, and then we can answer those questions together. This is also a place where you can get on and just share with other teachers what you've done. If you are particularly proud of your competition process, maybe it's something you've done for a few years and you are excited to share it with everybody, then that's a place for you to do that. I do record those calls as well, and they will also be linked on the TSIN website. So if you're not able to join October 23rd or the January 12th call, no worries. They're going to be recorded. And then if someone does get on there and they share that $1 million idea, then you can go back and watch that video and you can borrow it from them. All right, November 3rd is when I have the registration for the digital packet closing. If you're on this call, then most likely you've already registered for it, and maybe that's how you got the link for the call this afternoon. But the reason I have it so late in the fall is because there are some teachers that swap over at wintertime for that second semester system, trimester system, whatever it is that you're on. When your classes change, maybe you've got a different group of students that you want to try to do this with. And maybe you've just learned, oh, I'm going to teach this class in the spring. I want this information. So I keep this open for a long time. And I want everybody to have very long opportunity to sign up for this. So, November 3rd comes and you sign up, or November 4th is here, and oh my gosh, I meant to do it. Email me. The type form, the registration will be closed, but if you still want the information, email me, and I'm happy to send that to you. It's not uh, it's not something that I'll keep from you. So November 3rd is when that'll be closed, and you'll see announcements. November 3rd, SDC registration is closing. Uh, some things that are staying the same for the folks that have done this before is the February, early March submission for competitions, and then the state level competition happening in April. Something that's a little different about competitions this year. The local and the regional competitions will all be virtual. The state level competitions can be virtual and live, meaning the TWRA is working with us on finding a location where we can host an in-person live statewide design challenge state level competition. It's a mouthful there. But I am just so excited that we have the option this year to be able to do this competition, the state level competition, in a live setting, in front of live judges, in front of your group, will be in front of real people. If that's an option for you, fantastic. If it's not an option for you, it's not going to keep you from making it to the state level. We're still going to have that virtual option, and we're working through details on what that looks like. But just know that there is an option this year for the live Q&A session for state level competition. And I am just extremely pumped on what that's going to look like. The goal is that that competition is going to happen at one of the wildlife management areas. So we will update you as we get closer to the date, with plenty of time to plan what day it's going to be on, where it's going to happen. So you will get all of those details as we go throughout the year here. We're not going to leave you in the dark on anything. The state competition winners, we will announce those in April. And then the students that win are going to be recognized virtually. The teacher of the winning group will be presented with the team's award at the STEM Innovation Summit, just like we did last year, and you will still receive a complimentary ticket to the summit. So you will know early enough in advance whether or not your group has won. We hold the reservation, and even if you purchase the ticket before you find out if you won or not, we can do a reimbursement. So no worries on that. And I think that happened maybe a couple times last year where teachers had already purchased their ticket, and then they found out that their group won. So if your group wins, you will receive a complimentary ticket, and then you will also uh, be able to participate in the poster session. And let me go here. There we go. Perfect. All right. So two things that are new. Um, one, for everybody that is submitting in the competition, if you can provide me with some type of document that is related to your statewide design challenge competition, however it is that you laid it out for your students. If it was a single lesson plan, if it was an entire unit, if it is a PBL, whatever that looks like, I'm in the process of collecting documentation, not to provide evidence, but just to make this better, to see what teachers in Tennessee are doing for this particular competition. I just want to compare. Like, here's the student presentation. We always see that end product, and I love it. But I would love to see how you planned it out. Like, you've got the packet from us. What did you do with that packet, with that lesson? That will not play a part in the judging of your students' presentations. Not at all. Your students will not be affected by your lesson plans. They won't get any bonus points for the exceptionally great lesson plans, nothing like that. This is just me wanting to collect the documents from you to see what Tennessee teachers are doing. No specific format. Don't worry about putting this in the PBL template that we have on our website. If you want to, great. If you don't want to, just send me what you got. So that's new. And then the second part that's new is the poster session. And this is what I mentioned a moment ago. This is something that we tried out last year. It worked really well. The teachers did a fantastic job making these. And then they actually presented the posters at the TSIN Summit last May. So we're doing that again. It was great and we loved it. If you are selected to compete at the state level competition, then we will ask you to make that poster. And here's an example of what they look like. So we had Milan High School win one of our categories last year, and so they were asked to submit a poster. And then their teacher, Miss Ag, presented this poster during the poster session at Summit. It was great. So all the winners in all five categories are asked to present these posters at Summit. Um, we have several that make it to the state level competition. So if you make it to the state level competition, then we ask you to make this poster. If you win, then we ask you to present the poster. So I know it's a bummer. What if I make it to the state level competition, but we don't win? I spent all this time making this poster. Understood. Completely understand, and I get it. But what that does is it allows us plenty of time to make any necessary edits, formatting issues, pictures, and then we print these things off. And I'm telling you, it's like a 2 foot by 3 foot poster. The thing is massive. We want everybody to see it. So the earlier that we can get that from you, the better. So that's the second new thing. So the first new thing is uploading those lesson plans. The second new thing is that if you make it to state level, we will ask you to make one of these. We send you the template. It's just fill in, copy paste your information here. Some of it you leave alone, and then some of it you customize per your school, your group. And you can see partner here, last year's school logo. So those are the things that we're looking for. All right. And I know that was a lot of information in a little bit of time, but I do want to make sure that we are able to ask our partner a couple questions just related to the challenge, but then related to TWRA in general. So, Chelsea, I think I've still got you here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. All right. So, Chelsea, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these questions in the chat as I ask you. And so teachers can hear your response, but they can see the question that I'm asking. So, first question for you. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to get the chat open. First question for you is why should Tennesseans care about and be aware of what happens in their environment?
Yeah, us Tennesseans, we depend on clean water, healthy forests, really a thriving wildlife for recreation, food, and quality of life. Our environment supports hunting, fishing, boating, hiking, and countless other outdoor activities that really define our state's culture. So when we're aware of our environment, whether it's pollution or habitat loss or invasive species, some of the things that you'll see in our PowerPoint, we're really better equipped to really protect those resources and sustain both people in our state and in our wildlife. Caring for our environment really ensures that future generations that come and enjoy our state really get to enjoy, all that comes about with those opportunities in wildlife and conservation efforts and all that good stuff.
I love it. Thank you so much. All right, we talked about this with the Boots on the Ground award, and that's new, and that's something you suggested, and we got real excited when y'all started talking about it. So, bringing me to our next question, what types of solutions are you most excited to see come from this competition?
Yeah, I mean, like Ben said, we just are really excited to partner and be a part of this. We really want to see some creative, practical ideas that we can really implement as an agency, in the future. I think it'd be really great to see some stuff around conservation efforts with wildlife. And sustainability, maybe some new technologies that the students come up with that we can, I don't know, track or do something around conservation that way. I'm certainly not an expert in this field. I have actually joined the agency about 4 months ago, so I'm kind of new to all of this, but just really excited to see some solutions. Even promoting community through wildlife activities or field to freezer. I know we have one of those listed as well, which could, potentially be in the culinary area if you're a culinary teacher. So, but really, really excited to partner with y'all and see some solutions that these students come up with.
And when we started talking about culinary and the Field to Freezer program, did I say is Field to Freezer? Is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
We started talking about that, I got real excited. I am not a stranger to eating some different types of foods. So if some of y'all's kiddos make some pretty interesting food, I am very willing to try it. If I'm close enough, or if it's something that I don't know, if you can send my way, however that works. I've
Yeah,
eaten
and if y'all need help, sorry, Ben, if y'all need help with anything too, I know I'm not the expert, but we do have experts in that PowerPoint. We do have an email that you all can email us questions, and we can get you, connected with the right folks, along with having somebody come out and talk to your classroom as well.
perfect. All right, my last question for you, Chelsea. What advice do you have for students competing in this year's competition?
Think big, but also practical. I think the best projects, often start with a clear understanding of your environment around you. So please utilize, some of the resources that you have within that PowerPoint. There's regional offices across the state. You're more than welcome to visit those or call those as well to see where you can go, as well as the events. Don't be afraid to explore new ideas, and just really work as a team, communicate the vision clearly. I will say that as a communications person, to very clearly state your message, and your solution. But yeah, work together. I think it'll be really, really great end result. And I'm really, really excited for April.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. All right, which brings me to a question for you all, the teachers. How do you win this thing? Right here is a good place to go. This rubric is how we, the judges, will score your students' presentations. So, what we have found is that when teachers use this rubric to score their own competitions within their classrooms, so you're doing this as a local level, if you use this rubric, it's going to help your students with feedback. Why did I score a 10 instead of a 15 in the problem section here? Because this is the same rubric that we judges are going to be using when we watch those presentations. So, when you are submitting your local competition winners into that regional level, this is something that we are looking for. Not necessarily to see how well they did, but we want to see if they scored really low in prototyping. Is there something that they changed from that local competition by the time they get to us? So, did they have a chance to revisit their presentation? Did they have a chance to reflect on that prototype? Is there something that they could have changed? Did they have time to change it? We're very interested to see what the students do with the information that they get from you all. This also helps them know exactly what they have to do to score a certain level. So, this is linked in the flipbook that you have. This is also included as one of the documents that you receive in the various emails that you get from me. If you haven't seen this rubric yet and you don't know where to go to get it, just ask me when the call's over, and I will make sure that you get a copy of this because this is going to be one of the many keys to success for your students. All right. What's next? Next thing that we have is October 23rd, and that is going to be the first coaching touch point for this year's competition. Maybe you're not getting started then, but you want to join and you want to hear what some other teachers are doing just to get some ideas. Great. It's exactly what this is for. Maybe you're already finished and you're ready to submit. Great. That's also what this is for. Maybe you have a couple questions. Just log in. We'll be together for a little while. I'll record the whole thing so we can upload it to our website. You can go back and watch it, or you can have one of your colleagues go back if they weren't able to join that, and it'll be there for you. So, October 23rd is the next one there. And then that second coaching call is going to be January 12th. All right, the last piece here. If you are joining us tonight and you haven't registered yet, this QR code in the bottom corner will take you to that. And then I can also email you the registration link for that. If you registered for your classroom and your fellow teacher wants to do it as well, if you would please have them register separately. We have a data tracking system that we use, and so we like to see how many teachers are actually registering for the competition. So there's no problem in sharing. Please do share. But if you do know that they want to do the competition, if you would just have them register as a separate teacher so we can see how many kiddos they have, and then get their information. That would be tremendously helpful to us. All right. So I'm going to stop recording in just a moment, but before I do, I want to say thank you to everybody that has joined us this evening. Chelsea, TWRA, I can't say it enough, just how proud and how excited we are to have y'all as a partner this year. Chelsea, is there anything that you want to leave with us tonight?
We're really excited to partner with y'all too. Ben, you've been great, and excited to see what all the students and teachers come up with.
Wonderful. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to stop recording and you are free to hang around and ask some questions.